share with the listening audience, Keli, how they can properly, even from your perspective, brand themselves in today's marketplace? How can they really pursue what they want to do next?
Yes. Here's what I think is a problem amongst small business owners, especially those who are just getting started. We will tend to put a lot of money and a lot of energy behind branding. Now, don't get me wrong. Sure, a brand is great. You know, you've got your color schemes, you've got your brand board and your logo and all that. That's fine. That should take about 10% of your time and your money, 10% or less. What's happening is we keep branding ourselves like big companies when we're small business, and it doesn't require all that. My first 5 years in business, I had no clue. I probably changed my colors and brand scheme and all of that 10 times. It didn't matter. My income didn't change. See, what matters is the research involved. If you can pin down your target market being the ideal customer, the one who has the means to do business with you. They have the money and they have the problem that you solve. If you can get that clear, you will overcome whatever branding mistake you may have made or whatever lack you have in the proper colors or font styles. If you can just solve a problem, do your research on that, and find your ideal client, you will massively control your corner of the market. It is all in the research. So when we say branding, we think, okay, well, I got to have this beautiful logo and everything. It should be more about your brand message. What is the core message, the thing that you are about to explode into this industry, the thing that is unlike anybody else? How do you solve a problem in a way that nobody else is doing today, or you're doing it better, or you're doing it for a niche, a small piece of the industry that has yet to experience this type of phenomena in the market? So you've probably heard the riches are in the niches, and I agree with that 100%. The riches are in the niches. And if you think about how you can offer something in a different way, a lot of times people stop in their tracks and they go, well, that's been done before. So what? Who cares? I don't care if it's been done a million bajillion times. Has it been done in areas where historically it was not allowed or it's currently unavailable? That's where we want to put your core message, right? Where is it? It's currently not allowed or historically unavailable. That's where we want to put the core message so that we can make a difference, and that's where your money will be. It's not in the colors of the brand. It's in the brand message.
I love it. It's like substance over form. You know, what are you made of? And also considering that, you know, you have to crawl before you walk. And I just love everything you just said. And I know Tammy wants to chime in. Tammy, I know you have something to share about this. We talk about branding all the time, Keli. So I know she's ready.
What you actually shared, Keli, about branding is incredible. You mentioned about the methods. And I'm a true believer in branding. We have to be consistent. Consistency is the key. And even when you look at some of the most recognizable brands out there, like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, the key that they have is the consistency. And even in the fast-changing world of marketing, you must remain relevant and flexible and consistent because we are our brand. And many companies tend to put businesses tend to put the cart before the horse and focus on they need to focus more on their strategies and their methods and their techniques for their brand. But in a lot of cases, they have to execute a well-defined brand type of strategy and set standards for their brand. And like you said, you mentioned earlier about it's not about spending a whole bunch of money on your brand. It's about being consistent and being flexible in this fast-working and type of marketing world that we are in. So I love what you share. That's such wisdom for someone who's starting off in a business, a small business, that they need to hear this. And so this can help propel them to the next level and change their whole thinking of how they thought branding should be. So I love that what you mentioned about the methods. See,
a lot of small business owners start off in branding as a way of procrastinating. And see, that's the distinction I want to make. It's great to brand and be consistent and have these things, but like I said, make that 10%. Then you got to go on and get to work. You know, a lot of people get stuck there, and they go, oh, I don't know, it's not perfect, it's not the right colors, it looks like somebody else's, or it doesn't look enough like somebody else's, and they procrastinate in that when I need you to get to work, because there's people out there who need you, who need the thing that you're offering, and they couldn't care less if your color is blue or pink or orange. They want you to help them. So I want to just get the message across. Yes, be very intentional about your brand, consistent about your brand, absolutely, but do not get stuck in branding.
Mm. And that's astonishing, and that's profoundly simple, but simply profound, a way of leaving a lasting impression in the hearts and minds of our target audience. And even what you shared, going back to economics, what is bold and brilliant grand strategy of action that can be executed by anyone who is willing and able to develop a personal sense of integrity, economic intelligence, and intense work ethics that will allow them to take the will of their lives and drive forward towards their own best destiny. We appreciate you sharing that insight with the listening audience. Take it away, Candace.
Oh, thank you again, Tammy. Listen, I just want to say to Keli Chevalier, you know, you have served our country, and you're using your business and all the gifts you have in you to serve others, and we love that. You know, there's this quote on your website that says, you help people. You say, I help people find their inner strength and maintain grace under fire, while challenging them to recognize and overcome their fears of writing by creating a fun and safe space to work out your words. And you do more than just that. You know, through the gifts that you're offering, the services that you're offering, you're really a voice of inspiration. And with that, you know, Keli, you're inspiring people all over the world, but who inspired Keli Chevalier? Can you tell us a little bit about your inspirational role models?
Yes. Honestly, I grab inspiration everywhere. There's no one or two particular people. My parents inspire me every day by what they do and what they've created in their lives. My sister, you know, she's a single mom raising 2 kids. She inspires me. I get inspiration from watching, like, TV shows like America's Got Talent or something like that, and I see these people who have got they've overcome just humongous obstacles to get on stage and do something that they feel will change the world. I really find inspiration everywhere. I read. I probably read about 100 books, probably about 100 books a year. I get inspiration from stories other people have told historically. It's just everywhere. I can't pin it down. I'm sorry about that. I cannot pin down one or, you know, I want to say Oprah is an inspiration, and I feel like everybody says that, right? But, and she is. And so, you know, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama are inspiring to me. But I guess if I could just boil it all down, I get inspiration from people who are taking risks. If they take a risk to say something or do something and take action, then I am inspired by that. If they don't look at themselves and say, "Oh, poor me, I'm a victim of this. I can't do this because of where I'm from. Or I can't overcome this thing." If they're saying, "I've been through hell and high water and I'm still coming out on the other side," I'm inspired by that. And there's 100,000 of those stories everywhere. You just take the time to look for them.
And that reflection speaks volumes, Keli, which is incredible. And those type of individuals of stature should truly be carved in stone so that their life legacy of servant, leadership, and sacrifice might never be lost to mankind. And even what you mentioned about reading, and you're reading 100 books, I tell people to be able to expand your consciousness, you have to read. You have to read, you have to look at videos to empower your mind, to educate yourself, so you can move to the next level. And you be more cognizant of things around you. You'll be able to analyze things in a more meaningful way. So we appreciate such words of impactfulness to the listening audience, because this is truly quite liberating just hearing you give your story and your journey and being that accomplished that you are. And you're leading so many people, and you're helping so many people to reach their best destiny. Which leads me to the next question. What are the root cause of limited patterns of thought that impact effective entrepreneur and solution-based personal and business outcomes?
Yeah. So the root, this is, of course, my opinion, but I feel like the root cause is that today we are so inundated with everybody else's ideas that we get sort of in the muck of everyone else's ideas, and it hampers us from creating our own or even recognizing our own good ideas. I think this is like tremendous because we go on YouTube, we look at social media, we're watching TV, we're looking at all of these people telling us what you should be doing. Like in my industry as a copywriter, in the marketing, every day I hear something different. I hear email is dead, Facebook ads don't work. I'm hearing all kinds of stuff, and then they all come out with their idea of what works. Oh, you need to start a course. Oh, wait, no, you need to write a book first. Oh, no, you should be speaking on stages. Everybody's got this idea, and it's so many. And I feel like if we get bogged down and bouncing from, oh, that's a great idea, and we're bouncing from everybody else's idea that we don't spend enough time on our own and creating our own image of what we want to put out in the world. And I strongly believe our words create our world. So if we're saying to ourselves, if we're saying these words, oh, they have a great idea, oh, she's doing something, I need to do that, then that's exactly what will happen. You will end up being a carbon copy of somebody else and what their ideas are. I want to challenge your listeners to just cut it out. Like, take 48 hours. Don't listen to anybody else, nobody else's ideas. Don't even let it seep into your brain. Just a small amount of time. Whip out your journal, whatever you use to take notes on, and just free write. Just let your brain just flow, just pour onto the paper, and then go back and look at it and see what idea was your own, that you created by yourself. This is how we invent things. This is how we become millionaires. We come up with something, even if it's, one ordinary thing to the left and one ordinary thing to the right. Creativity happens when we take these two ordinary things, put them together in a unique way, and that's where your money is. But you won't know that if you're constantly bombarded with what everybody else is telling you should do or the way you should think. You've got to take some time out of your day or out of your week or whatever. Just set that time aside and just focus on your own thoughts and your own imagination and how you can monetize that. And it doesn't have to be brand spanking new. Like I said, it could just be a new look, a new way to put two ordinary things together. But, you got to give yourself that opportunity, that chance to do it. I think that's where the difference is. That's the difference between those people who have Me Too brands, okay, they're just, they're having a hard time standing out from the crowd, and those who you're like, oh, my God, that was so simple. I could have thought of that. Right? We've all experienced those moments where we're like, what? You probably did think of it. I don't even know how many times I've had an idea where I was like, I thought of that 10 years ago, and I didn't act on it, and here's someone else with that same idea, and it's like, you stole my idea. They didn't steal the idea. They actually took the time to act on the idea they had rather than looking at what everybody else was doing, and that's it. It's really a lot more simple than we give it credit.
And what you mentioned about taking action, there's a quote that I like by Dr. Martin Luther King. He said, our legacy should be like, for the compelling necessity of embracing the fear urgency of now, for there's no substitute for action. We have to be action-oriented. We have to be proactive. And even a lot of times fear paralyzes people and mobilizes them from moving to the next level. So you have to watch internalizing the voices that you are internalizing yourself within your own self. And you have to analyze that. And you have to, like you was talking about words, we have to be mindful of our language and what we're speaking out into the atmosphere. Because words have power.
Mm-hmm.
And there's life and death in the power of the tongue, which the Bible says. So we have to protect our mindset, but we have to educate ourselves. And our mindset mindset should be like a sum of our knowledge and different beliefs and our